I'm so glad that you have joined me here in the bottom of my garden on Vancouver Island as I share stories about connection through creativity. Haven't always had a garden. I used to have all my plants in pots that we would move from place to place before we arrived here and built this garden from scratch. As I sit in front of the greenhouse that was a gift from my mom when she was in hospice, it was a gift to her from my dad 38 years before, and I wrote a book about it and published it, called Greenhouse Hygge, The House of My Growing Dreams. This place is one of my favorite places because I feel that it has with it all the things that a garden entails. The reminders of resilience, of quiet beauty, of surprise and awe, wonder, color, and the seasonal rhythms that tell time like no other place can. It is a place I find inspiring for my creative business, where I help women find connection through creativity. Through my online course, Creative Again, my membership called GEMS, Gathering Experiences That Are Meaningful, and Out of the Blue, my cyanotype creations that are now available as scarves, journals, cards, and prints. My invitation for being here is that you give yourself a few moments to join me in this calm and quiet place to share stories and explore questions. There is no expectation that you will see the world as I do. In fact, my wish is for quite the opposite. By watching, you may find a perspective that is unique to me, as I would find if I were to sit in your garden with you. I value learning and respect diversity. It is what makes my urban flower farm strong, a diversity of specialty flowers that I grow. Welcome to my garden. I'm so glad you're here. Hello, I'm Lise-Lotte. Welcome to my garden. You can see my greenhouse behind me, and Lily is just behind you, lying in the shade here on this relatively warm, although now I've just moved into the shade, so not that warm, spring day. But I thought I would come on to show you in my weekly video. I want to show you a little something from the garden. Now, this is only partially from the garden. I don't know about you, but one of the pleasures that I will sometimes take is that I will stop at a flower stand. And there are certain flower stands that I always go to. And this is one of them. And so I have combined things from my garden and things from this person's garden that I don't have. So some of these beautiful, I think they're beautiful daffodils with that kind of light, I don't know, it's yellowy ivory, like it's not white. Maybe it's categorized as white, I don't know. But and then these ones, they're so frilly and fun. These are my favorite, the bridal crown. I grow them as well, but they were also in there. This one was sort of a peach middle, which is kind of fun. And the other, so those ones are theirs, and the other one, the other things are mine, including this tulip. Isn't she lovely? I always think, oh, I don't want them to blow open like that because then it means they're almost done. But yeah, they in every stage in these flowers is something really lovely, and I think that that's one of the things about having fresh flowers, especially ones that are seasonal to you, and ones that only really last for a little while. And I think actually that's part of the appeal. I remember somebody saying, oh, my husband doesn't want to buy me flowers because they don't last. And I thought, well, nothing actually lasts. Like that is the thing. Oh yeah, so there's something down here I had forgotten. It's gotten moved, I think, as I was moving things around. These little muscaria, I don't have these ones in my garden. In fact, I had never seen the purple before. Have you seen these ones? They usually come in a blue. This is what I have, but this one came from this bouquet. I love them. I don't know why I love them so much. Maybe they remind me of my mom. Well, they do actually remind me of my mom. And I probably have some of the bulbs that she was growing in her garden when we moved things to my garden. All right, so that is just a little beauty to share with you. And, you know, I think I've probably, if you've been here before, you know that this is how I feel about things. But the reason that I share things like this beauty is because I know for myself that when I was going through difficult things, it wasn't necessarily helpful for me to talk more about that thing, which in my case now, what I'm thinking about right now is caregiving for both of my disabled parents. And, you know, they were really tough times, right? And so what I really enjoyed was looking at other people's gardens and flowers and the tea that they have with their friends and all that kind of stuff. And that actually is what was most helpful to me. And and so I think, you know, as in the world is really, you know, difficult at the moment, and can be difficult for personal reasons too. And so that's why I share things. It's not in any way to say, this is what's happening in my garden, is this what's happening in your garden? There's no comparison there whatsoever. So I just want to let you know that, because I actually don't live with comparison. So I forget to mention that, but I wanted to mention it just off the top as we're early in this season from the garden. I'm so glad you're here. And I wanted to show you, actually, I don't know if I've shown you this, but I was writing some notes in here. Okay, so this is a cyanotype that I have made in the garden. It's called Where's the Poppy? And just so you don't have to think, oh, where's Waldo? I'll just show you where it is right away. And inside, I have two different kinds. One has the wreath, the lavender wreath on it, and one is this one. And inside, I have notes to everybody who reads it. I hope in these pages you find your voice and you are delighted by what you learned from her. I wish you peace on your path, Lise-Lotte. So that goes in all of them. And some of them have lines like this one does. And some of them have dots, and some of them, I don't think I ordered any blank ones. I really like the dots, I think maybe more than the lines, because I write every day, but I do find I can write in either the lines or the dots. So anyway, this is what I have. So so that got me going. So I was thinking about that. Oh yeah, so I was writing a little bit in here in kind of, because I write every day, and I find it really helpful. And I will tell you that so I had a procedure for my leg all set up to go, and it would be like a general anesthetic, would be an operation, like a one-day thing. And I don't have a family doctor. And so through all of kinds of different things, not everything fell in place. So I'm going to get it now. I'll be going to get it later. And it's just sometimes, I think when things are outside of our control, which is where a lot of stress does come from, you know, what I did was I went and bought myself flowers. And today, when I found out that, yes, the surgery is not happening tomorrow, I found that really frustrating and maddening, just because it's a small administrative detail, because the system just doesn't work here. And anyway, and the people at the hospital were super nice to me, and they're like, we're so sorry, it's awful, it's awful. But anyway, they can't do anything about it. So it's no problem. It's not like I'm in any pain with that procedure. It's just a thing. So, but what I wanted to say was, I was curious, like, what do you do when you find things that are out of your control and you want to do something creative, but maybe you're just still kind of in that, like, I'm just frustrated, I'm mad, I'm like, and what do you do? And so yesterday, when I was driving back from picking up Lily's medication at the vet, I took a different turn so that I would go past this person's flower stand. And this flower stand it's up near the university. It's been there for years and years. And I was just so delighted to see it, actually. And although there was, you know, I didn't have the right change and stuff, so I mean, overpaid for the thing, whatever. These just brought me such joy, and I, you know, brought them into the car, and they sort of drip, 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 drip all the way to the car, and then I came home, and today, when I really kind of needed to do something that was simple and fast, and something that I think is beautiful, I put them together with some flowers that I had in a different bouquet that I had used over the long weekend. And I just put them in this vase that I had gotten a number of years ago in Denmark. And I just love this vase. I love the shape of it. The shape totally works. And it's glass, and holds a lot of water, so things don't get thirsty fast, which is good. And it kind of holds them the way you would a bouquet, and that way. And so it's an easy thing to arrange with. But more than that, it was just kind of like I needed to do something that just brought me this little bit of peace. And yeah, so I think that is a helpful example of a way that you can, obviously it doesn't change the problem, but a way that you can kind of calm yourself, find something, just move to acceptance, because like there's literally nothing you can do about it. And I think that's why I'm so excited about being able to teach this Creative Again class, because I think will be helpful for people to just do something of a reframe. When you know how to be creative in whatever it is, whether it's with flowers or knitting or indigo dyeing or weaving or slow stitching or poetry, singing, dancing, whatever it is, there are lots of avenues that kind of open up to you. And so I'm really excited about that in this class. And I wanted to show you a couple of things that we'll make. Now, I want to stress that in the class, it is not about me teaching like 5 crafts and then you are able to replicate those crafts. That's actually not it at all. In fact, I started out my career in youth leadership and prevention, and it was always my job to not be needed. Like if I was really good at prevention work, this was around traffic safety. If I was really good around that, I would put myself out of a job. Now, unfortunately, people were drinking and driving and speeding and not wearing seatbelts, so those things kept one fully busy. But the idea in prevention is that you do such a good job that you put yourself out of a job. And I think as a longtime facilitator, I don't ever want to be the one who's the source of the ideas. I want it to be that I'm sharing what I know in terms of the skills to find the things and to find your passions and your notice I say 2, like more than one, it could be 2, it could be many, 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 but your passions, your things that give you joy, those little simple things that you can do on a day, for me, like today, that have really helped me. They've really kind of helped switch things for me. Yeah, and you have that inside of you already. And so it's also that creative problem solving. And that's another thing about leading a creative life, is that when you're practiced at noticing other things and noticing things, and today there's a lot of noise in the neighborhood, but the sun is out, and it's, on the little weather app, it's going to be here for a few days, which we're very excited about. And because I was getting all set for this surgery where I wouldn't be able to garden for 3 weeks, then I'm actually further ahead in the garden this year. So, it's not all bad. But anyway, I show you these things just to say that these are some examples of some things that we're going to make. But they're not going to be like, it's not a color in, with the numbers. It's not that kind of thing, but you will get a box with everything that you need, having said that. So this is a little, I don't know if you've ever seen one of these before. I had made one like when I was a child, and I still have it. And the outside wasn't felt, it was something that I had woven with a little loom that my mom and dad had given me. So this I've just free-formed embroidery, and then it's for needles. It's a little needle book. So I keep my embroidery needle and these other 2 little needles in it, and then I sort of signed it and dated it. And of course I thought, oh, LL, like how easy could those letters be? Until I got to 26 the year, and then it was like, okay, well, that was a little challenging to do just by hand. And you don't have to, you could print it on and go around whenever. There's lots of ways to do it. I'll show you all about it, but that was one of them. We'll do a little bit of a watercolor exercise. And I don't want to get into too many of the specifics because I like surprises. I think that novelty is part of creativity, and it's one of the exciting things. And so I enjoy that. But one of the things we'll do is play with the paints that I'm going to send in the box. And what I wrote on here after in pen is, there is room for you. And it is something that I learned from a teacher of mine online, Bonnie Christine, for surface pattern design quite a few years ago now. Well, maybe not quite a few years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And it was something that really helped me. And that is that just because somebody has created something, it hasn't been created by you. And so because it's your interpretation, it's your unique perspective, it's your originality, that is creative. And as a result, there is room for you. So I really like that. And then we're going to do a little bit of sculpture. And this one has a whole story associated with it. But it's for literally one piece of grass, or I have a little bunny tail in it. And it's based on a, I'll tell everything about it in the course. But anyway, that's something that you would make, is something that would hold a little, and it is meant to be small. And there are some reasons behind that. But anyway, I thought I would just kind of share those things because I'm excited about the course, and it's coming up. I'm teaching it live for the first time, and then afterwards I will tape it, or record it rather, and it won't be live again. But for this time, for the first time that I'm teaching it, it will be live. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to meet the students, and and we'll kind of go from there. And I have another thing that I'm very excited about. This is why my day couldn't be terrible going the whole day, right? Like, just had to get over it and move on. And one of the things that I find really helpful in my creativity is that I do have times when I create stuff on my own. There are things that I'm like, you know what, I'm not ready to share that, or I don't, I just want to play with this first. I don't want to talk about it with anybody if I'm drawing or writing something or whatever. Not everything has to get shared. And I think that that's an important thing, particularly if you're learning something new. It's okay to you don't have to share that. Like, nobody has to see that. So that's one part of it. And the other, at the same time, because I'm not a one or other kind of person, I'm an and kind of person, is that I think that when you do create alongside of other people, and maybe you create your own stuff, but in this case, I belong to a knitting group, and I have for the last, I guess, 5 or so years, 5.5 maybe years, and I was invited in by a friend of mine, and just after I had lost Ilsa, our daughter, who we lost when she was 21 to a brain aneurysm, and that was during COVID. And so I had met this lovely small group of women, and we have become not just like knitting friends, but friends. And one of the people in the group had this idea of doing this podcast. And I didn't really know anything about like knitting podcasts as a genre. But what it is that people will often knit alongside somebody else kind of chatting. And I listen to podcasts when I'm seeding in the greenhouse. I don't watch it on YouTube or anything. But when I'm out here and I'm weeding and I'm doing, kind of repetitive things, or if I'm like driving to the vet, or if I'm in the car, I've got usually a business podcast on. But because I'm constantly learning all this stuff. But there are knitting podcasts that are just absolutely lovely, and you get to see what people are making, and you kind of be part of the conversation. And as you're doing your own knitting, or maybe you're cleaning the house or ironing or something else for some project, who knows what you're doing, but like these exist. And so we had the idea, one of the people had the idea of doing it. And so today was the day that we released our very first podcast, and the podcast is called Island Fibre Friends, and I'll link it here below if you're interested. We'd love to have you along, and it's quite a different thing, and it's absolutely fun and lovely to be doing this with friends, because it's kind of our next creative endeavor together, and so that's kind of a fun thing. So we'll probably be posting every 3 to 4 weeks. So it's not as frequent as my little video here the series from the garden where I come into the garden. Well, I come to the garden every day, but where I come to do this video for you to share a little bit about the garden. And I do that once a week, and it comes out the same day as my weekly newsletter, which is on connection and creativity, which are along the same themes as this always. So yeah, so I'm excited about that. Lots going on, lots to look forward to in the garden, and as you can see, there's lots coming up. That little path looks so different at this time of year, doesn't it? Things are really changing quickly. I don't know, it's just like, of course things must be growing at the same speed all the time, but somehow I feel like when the sun comes out and things just start, it feels like, you know, were you here yesterday? I didn't remember seeing you. Anyway, it's going quickly around here, but very exciting, and lots to look forward to. So I will be back next week to share more of another aspect of creativity, and also some more flowers. So I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I wish you peace on your path.